Welcome to the portion of our education curriculum where we talk about locations and programs. For California community colleges, CSUs, and the UC system. This is sponsored by Calvet and CalTAP and presented by Swords of Plowshares. So let's begin. Now we're going to talk about California community colleges as a veteran, and you'll hear this in other curriculum. If you have not gone into higher education before, if you haven't gone into the college system before, community colleges are absolutely fantastic and the best way to kickstart your higher education career, and something we completely recommend. Community colleges offer a more cost-effective and a more career exploratory path to higher education. It can also be a great way to get acclimated to student life before moving on to a more intensive program. For those of you who may not necessarily be comfortable or not necessarily know what you want to do in college, but you think that college is important, especially when you're considering what you want to do professionally, what you might want to be involved in the future, community colleges are great in the sense that you can go to them, you can get more involved in student life, you can get involved in a lot of different spaces to kind of understand who you are as an individual and what you're looking to do in life. It's also a great way to do it because rather than immediately going into a four-year institution where you're kind of set on this path, and if you diverge from that path, you're making life more difficult for yourself, community colleges are meant to enable you to explore and to get a better understanding of what you want to get involved in. This is a very common path for veterans to explore professional training, pursue associate degrees, or take core classes necessary for them to transfer to a four-year college. Another great thing is that since these are California community colleges, we have one of the better transitions within the United States of having that pathway lined up from community college going into a four-year, as long as you knock out all the necessary prerequisites. It's also a great way to knock out general education requirements before transitioning to a four-year college. Like, I know personally for me, I've been terrible at math. I was terrible at math in high school. And when I was wanting to go back into school, I was able to tackle math at the community college level and help especially address some remedial issues that I had before transferring into a four-year institution. And it made life easier for me. It made my educational career a lot easier, and I was still to graduate on a four-year mark. Another great thing about California community colleges is that there's no admissions threshold. They are required to admit any California resident possessing a high school diploma or an equivalent. For eligible veterans, the California community colleges promise grant permits enrollment fees to be waived, which is also another fantastic thing about attending community college within the state. There are 114 community colleges with a large number of additional campus centers and classrooms throughout the state. As you can see, obviously the more densely packed areas of California tend to have an even higher frequency, but that doesn't mean that the rural areas are left out. All right, let's talk about the California State University system. As you can see, we have a number of CSUs throughout the state. CSUs are often a more affordable option for a four-year degree. They're less selective in the admissions process than the UC system. And active duty military personnel stationed in California and service members discharged in California are usually granted waivers of California non-resident fees and are treated as California residents for admissions purposes, which is fantastic, especially if we're thinking about how much out-of-state tuition can cost. For CSUs, the courses and degree programs are in more practical applications and careers. They also offer less advanced level degrees than the UC system. This isn't negative or anything, especially when we think about CSU being a really great, more affordable opportunity to attend a 4-year and still get that high level of education within the state of California. Now let's jump into the UCs. As we can see, University of California has less campuses across the board. UCs consider your veteran status in the admissions review process. UCs are also more research oriented and allow you to have more hands-on research opportunities. There are more academic departments ranked in the top 10 nationally than any other public or private university. So considering that you have these right in your backyard, and especially when we consider how California community colleges develop a pipeline into the CSU and UC systems, this makes it more accessible to you as a veteran living within the state of California. Unfortunately, tuition is typically higher than CSU's. This is where your education benefits can really come into play. Veterans have priority registration for classes, and there's a veteran coordinator at each campus. So when we talk about the UCs, we're talking about 9 undergraduate campuses and more than 750 majors and 150 disciplines. It's fantastic. It's really engaging, and it covers a lot of fields. There's a lot of different things that if you're interested, you can choose to pursue at a UC system. And again, when we think about, hey, if you're a recently separated veteran and maybe you want to go to community college first, California has really developed those community college pipelines, and attending UC is more than feasible reality as a veteran in the state of California. So now that we've talked about community colleges, we've talked about CSUs, and we've talked about UCs, let's talk about next steps. When you've gathered information on prospective schools and identified what program you'd like to pursue, figure out what educational benefits you're eligible for. From here, you might want to check out other elements of our different curriculum. You could see Module 3, where we talk about paying for school. You could also check out Core Pathway Module 4, where we talk about filing a claim for VA benefits. So that way we can help you get the benefits that you've deserved, especially when pursuing to advance your life. Hopefully this has been an informative, short presentation talking about the different locations and programs of California community colleges, CSUs, and the UC system. If you're looking for more information, you can refer back to our next steps and look at the modules connected with those, and you could also look further into the education curriculum. Thank you for your attendance and good luck on your journey.